Awesome, cool. Thanks for the intro, Zach. Yeah, I go by Clem usually. That's way simpler. And yeah, don't even try with my last name. Is I don't even know how to pronounce it. Anyway, but cool. So very excited to be the first presenter today. So we are going to talk about an open source ledger that we're doing at Numary. We are basically trying to help companies that have complex money flows, such as marketplaces and platforms that can have inflows and outflow and a huge mess in between. And we're trying to fix that huge mess in between. So we are going to do a quick demo of especially NumScript, which is the language that we are creating in the open source ledger to help you build this kind of complex money flows. So I will just share you my screen. Let me know if everything seems all right. Cool. Not this one, not this one either. Right, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool, awesome. So I'm just gonna break the rule and show you one slide, and after that we are going to switch to the live demo. But basically what we're trying to help companies with is the blue part of that flow chart, which is basically when you grow a platform, usually we'll start using multiple payment provider and you will be inclined to decouple the customer payment from the seller payments. And this is when usually we start to you will start to have the need for a ledger, which is going to be helpful in modeling the way money flows through the system. And this is going to be mostly the blue part of that chart. And this is actually what we will focus on today, as we'll kind of try to do a copy, a clone of DoorDash, for example, so marketplace. Yeah. Okay. So a marketplace where you have basically a riders, a restaurant, you want to take a commission, these kind of money flows. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to share another screen. Let me know if it's not going through, but I think it should be the case. Cool. So we are going to write a very simple example of what you can do with NumScript. So basically NumScript is the language that we are integrating into the ledger to help you build this blue part in the flowchart that we just did. So in NumScript, you can do basically one thing, which is to send assets to accounts. So basically what you would expect from a ledger. So for example, here we are going to send $1 from the world account to the user 001 account. So very simple transaction. So we are leveraging the world account here, which is in Numary's way to introduce money into the ledger. This is the only account that can spend money that it doesn't have. So we're going to use that account as a first example. So we need to execute that transaction in a ledger that we are going to call vSum1. Whoops, sorry. We are going to execute that example. And if we query the ledger, we are going to normally see a transaction with a single posting. So basically in Numary, transactions help you move assets from accounts to another. And you can have multiple postings in transactions. So each posting has a source, a destination, an amount, and an asset that you are moving. So this is the result of what we did here. So very simple example. What we can do as well with Numary, and that is going to be helpful for the rest of the example, is that we can actually have multiple accounts in a destination. So for example, we may want to give 10% to an account that would represent a user and the remaining to another account that would represent another user. So if we execute that, we're going to have a new transaction with this time 2 postings. So one sending to the user 1 and another sending to the user 2. So this was kind of just to get started, but we'll quickly switch to a real example of real scripts to help us build kind of the previous flowcharts that we've seen. So right, let's switch to this one. Cool. So if we want to build this, we are going to model this blue part of the chart using multiple num scripts. So num script here would act as the kind of source of truth for the templates that our transactions are. So for example, if you're doing DoorDash here, we may want to start with the way we inject money into an order. So a very simple example would be the way we want to inject money using coupon in the system. So if you're running a platform like this, you would usually want to inject heavy amounts of marketing money into the system, into your system, so that your users are going to be paying for orders by both marketing money and their own money. So this is the first example that we can try here. So a very first num script that we can write is the first one to model the fact that we want to put aside some money for a specific coupon, for example, Fall 21. So every time a user would enter Fall 21 into your DoorDash clone, they would get $10. So this is something that we can do with that num script. So let's just execute it this way. Cool. So basically what I've done here is just I've just built up a very simple Node.js application where we can have some basic endpoints that actually execute the num scripts. So what we're going to start with is to actually create that very first coupon. So we are going to hit that endpoint with the code of the coupon, the monetary budget that we want to associate with the coupon, the price per value that we want to associate with the coupon, and this is going to execute this num script. So let's do that here. So let's say we want to put aside 15K for the coupon Fall 21, and that every time a user use that coupon, they will get $10 on their wallet account. So let's just do that. And what we can do now is just basically start to check the transactions that we have in the ledger. So we have a first transaction where we created money for the coupon for Fall 21. We have 15K that was injected into this account for this coupon. So we now know that we will never spend more than that for this marketing campaign. Right, so let's continue with another script and actually continue to move to the right of the flow chart. So let's say that you have a user that enters the coupon on the app. What you want to do is to credit this wallet with the value of the coupon. So this is what we're going to do here. So we are having a very simple num script, which is doing a simple send, where we just send the value of the coupon into the user wallet. So, and the value of the coupon is one that we get from the metadata of the coupon that we created earlier. So this is kind of enclosed into a single script, so that you know that this is anything that can happen and nothing else will happen in your system. So if we check the accounts, we can see that the coupon Fall 21 that we created is having a metadata value of $10, and this is what we are going to be using. This is what we are going to be using in the num script to redeem a coupon. So let's do just that. Let's, for example, redeem this coupon user on a specific user in our ledger. Right, this is done. And let's actually check the transactions. So we can see that we moved, again, a single posting. We can see that we moved $10 from the coupon from Fall 21 to the user 42 wallet. All right, so let's kind of move to the right of the flowchart. So let's, now that we have marketing money, that we have a user with a wallet, let's continue to move forward and to actually handle the payments of the user. So what we would want to do, usually there will be tons of ways to model how money will flow through your system. But here, what we will do is to basically leverage NumScript to create these payment accounts. So what we will do is to actually write this simple script, this time with two postings in the transaction. So we are going to send we are going to send a total price, so basically the price of the order, to a payment account. This is something that you would want to reconcile later on with a transaction from Stripe or any payment provider that you use. But we're going to stay simple here and just assume that this is going to be done and that we will use payment accounts to actually be the very entry of money into the order for our system. So what we can do with NumScript is to try to pull money from the user wallet first. This is something that you can do with source statements. So basically first try to pull a specific amount from wallets. And if there is not enough money in the wallet account that you specified, we will be taking money from the wallet account. So basically creating money again. And then we're going to send that money into a payment account and then basically moving all the money in the payment account to an order account. So that's, this is kind of a first concern. So making sure that money comes to the order and the people responsible for what happened next now don't have to bother with how money found its way to the order. So let's execute that script with a few parameters. So right, let's do a payment. So we are going to inject some variables there. So basically the user ID, the payment ID that we want to use in the system, order ID, and the total price of the order. So let's just execute that. And all right, so we now have a transaction with two postings. Because we redeemed the coupon before, we were able to pull $10 from this user wallet. And we also pulled the remaining for the from the wallet account, and we send that to a payment account. Right, cool. So if we continue to move to the right, we are going to have different NumScripts to actually represent how money is going to be flowing through a system and exactly what is how to whom. This is when we are going to be tracking this kind of amounts. So basically we now have money that's found its way into our payment provider, but we now want to know how many money we are going to give to the restaurant, to the rider, to the platform. So this is what we are doing here with a very simple example NumScript. So yeah, this time two postings. We want to put money aside for the delivery, and then we want to put money aside for the restaurant and for the platform. What we're doing is to, again, leverage the ability of NumScript to have multiple and nested sources and destinations. So here we are telling that we want 85% of the money to go to the restaurant, the remaining of that money in the order to the platform, 20% of which to the taxes, because we may have been processing an order that is on which VAT is applied, and we want the rest of the money to be registered as fees for the platform. All right, so let's execute that again. And this is what actually ended up being in the ledger. So we now have a single transaction with this time 4 postings. So basically pulling money from the order accounts to all the accounts in the system that we wanted to send money to. So to the rider, to the restaurant, to the platform for taxes, and to the fees that we collected as a platform. So yeah, that would be a simple example. And the last thing that we may want to do now that we have that is to actually make sure that we register the fact that we paid out these parties if we want to. So for example, making sure that we pay out a specific rider in the system. So this would create another transaction where we kind of register the fact that we paid this rider in a way, and this is again an example of a transaction that we will need to reconcile with another payment system later on. But I think that this is going to be a bit too long for this and today. So happy to chat about reconciliation later on. Right. Thank you for having me. And I think I've shown everything I wanted to show to you. Just one last thing, this repository is actually available if you want to check the scripts that we went through for this demo. You can just go to our GitHub/Numary and you will find this example here. Cool. Thank you so much. I think I'm gonna drop the mic to the next presenter.